Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Intuition Incubator interview. I'm Carolyn Beauchamp, the author of the recently published book, Horses to Higher Consciousness, Riding the Cosmic Current. And it is an inspirational memoir about my life and how I had to learn to trust the voice within as opposed to the voice or voices without. And that is what inspired the Intuition Incubator interviews. And now I get to share this space with other fantastic expert guests who are also going to give you really great tips on how to further your own intuition. And by hearing their story and their journey, you'll learn so much. So I am thrilled and honored today to be joined with Julie LeBriton. And Julie is a guide, a certified life activation practitioner, advanced Jikiden Reiki and Ensophic Reiki practitioner, ritual master, teacher, ordained minister. She's a lot, so stay with me here. Initiated Celtic Shaman, certified death doula, and healer. Julie is a certified instructor for numerous classes, including sacred geometry, astral travel, meditation, and empower thyself. Julie's mission in life is to help shift the collective consciousness by anchoring love and light, starting right here in our community of Naples, Florida. She received her training through the Modern Mystery School in Toronto, Canada. As she continues to learn more healing and clearing modalities, she's honored to bring these home to you. Julie is also the author of the Poppy the Awesome Opossum children's book series that weave magical and adventurous tales. Her stories explore themes of ancient runes, meditation, herbs, and teas. She's dedicated to sharing hermetic principles with children to support their journey. So, welcome, Julie. So happy
Thank
to
you so
have
much for having me. I'm
you.
excited to be here.
Oh, I'm so excited for you to be here because that resume, oh my God, that's quite the bio. And I am so excited to learn all about your work. But before we get into that, I'd like to talk a little bit and have you share about yourself, okay? So, what was happening in your life when your healing or transformational journey first began?
Mm. So it's interesting that we're doing this talk today because it was literally 13 years ago today that I had I had a huge awakening. I was on the outside, my life looked great. I had a loving husband. I had a great job. I had two children. Everything was great. It looked so good. But on the inside, there just wasn't a lot going on. I didn't feel like I had a purpose. I didn't feel like being on this planet, for me being here, was actually making a difference. And I kind of felt lost. I felt like I was just doing the same thing over every day, and it felt flat. And I was at a point in my life where I was I was coming to kind of a crossroads. And at that crossroads, I was looking at what I wanted to do if I wanted to still be here. And I had heard about a class called Empower Thyself. And I heard that this class would possibly change my life. And I was like, okay, anything that's going to change my life is going to be for the better. And so I heard about the class and I came home and I spoke to my husband about it. And the class wasn't inexpensive. It was a 2 day, full day class. And at the time, it wasn't in our budget. So I talked to my husband and I said, okay, I can either start some intensive therapy. I can take this class that I heard about that's supposed to change your life, or I don't think I'm going to be here much longer. I don't think I'm going to make it.
Wow.
And my husband, being the brilliant man that he is, said, take the class. So I took the class 13 years ago on a Saturday and Sunday, and my whole life changed. It was like a gray cloud was lifted And I started seeing my life and the purpose that I had here on the planet. And it literally saved my life. And so I began a journey of wanting to help change other people's lives. And I knew that if there were other people who were lost and had lost hope, that maybe I could help them find it like I had found it. So that outside voice that said your life is fine
Yeah.
wasn't
Looks good.
true.
Right. Looks good
Right?
on paper,
Right?
right?
Yeah. Yeah. Good resume, awful employee. Right? That was kind of where I was at. So that was the moment for me. That was when it changed. I remember standing in the kitchen having the conversation with my husband and going in that next, it was a Friday, and then starting the class on that Saturday.
That is absolutely amazing. And it was the actual day that today is, 13 years
Yes.
ago.
Yeah.
And here
Yes.
you are,
I know, right?
full
Yes,
circle.
I was looking at the calendar to see how long ago was it that I took the class. And I looked at the dates and I was like, oh my goodness, this is the Friday before I would take the class. And here we are.
I know, isn't it's complete divine synchronicity, right? It's divine order. It's so, isn't that wonderful? Those, as James Redfield called them, the coincidences, but they're right, the coincidences. There are no
Yes.
coincidences. And I love that. That is so great. Well, I'm curious too about when you said you heard about the class. Now, you were feeling really down even though you had everything. You had a beautiful family and life seemed to look good, but you just felt such a deep hole in your heart or your soul of a purpose. And then did you, put out something to the universe? I need something, or I need some help, or do you have any like clues for us? How did you then see that ad? Or were there any stories around that, like when you started feeling that way?
Yeah. So when you talk about there are no coincidences, it had been about a year before this. And a friend of mine had said, there's a woman who's teaching a tarot class. And why don't we do it as a girls' night? We'll go out and get something to eat, and then we'll go to this class and we can learn tarot. And I was like, okay, that'll be a fun girls' night out. So we went and we took this class, and it was at a store called Shaman's Blessings. And the woman who was teaching the class, I met her, and it was me and my friend. And then there was a couple other people in the class. So it was a very intimate class. And I met this woman, and she was so unique and she had such a beautiful energy about her. And I just really was like, wow, this woman's really cool. And her name was Barbara Segura. And so we took the class. It was fun. My friends signed up to get emails. And then it was about, I would say about 8 months later, the class that we took, that Shaman's Blessings closed that next day. It was the last class they ever taught. And then 8 months later, my friend said, hey, that lady who taught us that class is having a goddess awakening night. You want to go? We'll do like another girls' night. So this time we walked in and she was having it. She had it was at her house. And we walked in and I saw Barbara standing there and she looked at me and she said, Julie, it's so good to see you.
She
And mind
did.
you, it'd been 8 months and I'd seen her once. And she instantly recognized me. And I started going to a few classes, and I brought my neighbor to come to a class. And she's the one who said, hey, I'm going to be taking Empower Thyself. And I'm like, what is this class? And she's like, I don't know, but it's supposed to change your life. And that was exactly what I needed to hear that Thursday before I took the class. And so when I asked Barbara, because there were some prerequisites to take the class with Barbara, this 2 day class. And when I said, Barbara, can I take the class this weekend? I know it's like short notice. And she said, Julie, from the moment I met you, I always knew you would take this class. Your name has been on my altar. You've always been in my heart. I knew that you had a contract to take this class, and absolutely come this weekend and take the class with me.
Wow. Well, what was the class that you went to as the goddess night? What was that about?
So Goddess Awakening is every month, and I now help lead Goddess Awakening in the 13 years. Of course, now I am very much a part of the classes we teach. And Goddess Awakening is on the first Thursday of every month at our healing center, Limitless Light. We bring in the goddess energy of a different goddess every month. And with that energy, it's a group of women that come together. We
Mhm.
always There's also a God night for the men to gather and learn about different God energy. But with the women, we all come together and we learn about the goddess. We start with an incredible video, slideshow, music, where we have images. And then we move into learning about the goddess and kind of the background on the goddess energy and what she brings in. And then we go into rituals, ceremony, and then meditation.
Oh,
So
that's
we do this
nice.
once a month and we do it on Zoom or in person. We started
Uh-huh.
Zoom during COVID. So because we
Everybody.
want, we want everyone to have the opportunity. So we started doing this, and the women come together, and then we hold the energy with us for 30 days. So we can all experience that energy. It stays with us for a whole cycle.
Oh,
And
until you do it the next time.
yes,
Right. So you
yes.
have that goddess energy for the whole month, then you go to the next one. And how many are there?
How many goddesses are there?
Yeah, how many different
Oh,
goddesses?
well, it's so interesting. We never know which goddess we're going to bring in the energy for. But
Uh-huh.
what we do is we start getting, it's almost like we say the goddess starts knocking on the door, because we'll start seeing symbols associated. Like maybe we're seeing a lot of cats, or we'll start seeing a lot of um, peacocks. And we know the different symbols associated with different goddesses. And then sometimes we have to look it up. Like we'll say, like one time we were seeing a bunch of wintry goddess symbols. And it was almost like we were seeing a goddess that looked like a winter goddess, and we didn't know who she was, and we had to research until we came across the goddess, so we could bring in her energy, because she was coming to us, but we didn't know who she was. So it's
Well,
really fun.
that's very interesting. And so then like for a week or two before the next gathering, does everybody start seeing these clues or these images? Like you said, you'll start seeing cats or you'll see whatever. Will the whole group, do the same women come every month of the goddess circle gathering?
Well, what's really interesting is the goddesses out in the world who need the message the most are the ones that show up. and it
Oh,
and they will get exactly what they need, and they'll be like, I just felt like I needed to come tonight. And it will be the energy that they really need. So we have a bunch of women, but sometimes it's a whole different group every time. It's really interesting. We never know who's going to be there, but it's always exactly who needs to be.
it's always perfect. Wow. Well, then, when everybody joins and when you get there, then do you share first about what everybody's been seeing previously to get an idea of which goddess needs to come through?
Well, already, usually it's Barbara and I who make the final determination on who's knocking.
I
But what will
see.
happen is the women who show up, they'll say, "I can't believe it's this goddess. These are all her symbols." As they're learning about her, they'll say, "I've been seeing this in my life. It makes sense why, there were crows flying all around my yard yesterday, because that's one of the
Oh,
symbols of that goddess." So it's fun to see where she was coming in for these goddesses before they even knew that they were going to come to Goddess Awakening.
wow. Total synchronicity, right?
Yes, totally.
That is fabulous. Well, and then tell us what happened. How were you? How did your intuition speak to you and guide you then to like the next thing? Was that the chronology kind of? You did that first and then you kind of went off into the Reiki. Share with us what happened, the trajectory of this, because I think the journey and the story is what's so fascinating and the way it kind of weaves and bobs and the synchronicities come in. And that I feel this just came to me. I feel like the intuition comes in with a synchronicity of the universal flow and other people in your life that it kind of coordinates it, I guess is a good word, right? So how is your journey kind of coordinated? What came next?
So after I took Empower Thyself, I went on to go to Toronto for Healers Academy. So in Healers Academy, we learn to do something called the life activation. And that's something that everyone receives before they take Empower Thyself. So the lineage that I study with is the King Solomon royal lineage. So everything that I do, everything I've been taught has been handed down for over 3,000 years. So it all has this royal lineage behind it. And it's all things that have been tried and tested, and we know they work. We
Mm.
know that a life activation works for everyone. So when I went to Healers Academy, I learned the life activation. And what that does is it lights up your, it's like turning on the GPS so that you can find exactly where you're supposed to go in life. So for anybody who's lost and they don't really know their purpose, they receive a life activation. And then after that, they start seeing, okay, this is what I'm meant to do. When I learned how to do the life activation, I came back and did them for everybody I worked with. And
Oh,
then
wow.
everybody at by about 6 months, everybody was gone.
Oh,
So so
wow.
if you love everyone you work with and you don't want them to leave, but in the job I was with, it was like they all started like they moved up north to be with their daughter and their granddaughter. And it was like all these different things were happening in people's lives, and they started following their paths and they just moved on. And it was a beautiful thing to see, but it really does. I would say if you love your life exactly as it is, don't get the life activation because things are going to change. Things that serve you are going to come in, and the things that don't serve you are going to leave for sure.
Well, what about if someone was completely fulfilled and they did the life activation and it just opened it up with something even added to it to make it even more fabulous? Couldn't that happen?
Yes. Although I've never had anyone say that they were completely satisfied with their life when I suggest that they don't get it if they are. So I
Yeah.
think everybody always wants to be improving and progressing. And that was your question, is the path of progression for me. So I learned how to do the life activation so I could come back and do life activations for other people. And then I went on to learn other healing modalities like Reiki, which is one of my favorite, Jikiden Reiki, and then even a higher version of that, which is the Ensophic Reiki modality, which flows even more energy into a person.
Wow. Well, and what led you originally to Toronto first, then to learn the life activation? Because you were, I'm going with the trajectory here. You said next I did this. Well, what was the synchronicity with that? What was the impetus for you to go to Toronto?
I really wanted to learn how to do the life activation. And Healers Academy is offered in a few places. One of them is Toronto at the Modern Mystery School, and then also in London. And there's another school in Japan, and then we also have South Africa. But honestly, London and Toronto are the easiest ones to go to. And
Uh-huh.
Toronto for us is so easy. It's like a 3 hour flight, and you're right there. It's so
Wow.
easy from Florida.
Oh,
So
yeah, that would be similar to I'm originally from Michigan, and when I would just go up to Michigan, and I'd be up there in 2 hours. So Toronto would just be a little further.
yeah, it's so easy to go. And the energy at the school where I was learning all of these modalities was just amazing. And the people I learned from were amazing teachers. And I met people from all over the world who were like-minded, who wanted
Uh-huh.
to learn and wanted to help people and wanted to help heal themselves. So there was just wonderful energy and people every time I went up.
And how long did you stay there? How long was the course in Toronto?
Healers Academy is 5 days.
Uh-huh.
And it's really amazing. Since I've learned how to do it, I've actually been on the teaching panel for Healers Academy too, a couple times, which was amazing.
Did you go back there or was it something you did
Yes,
online? You went back there?
yes. And
Wow.
I got to teach the class that I had learned. That was my first experience up in Toronto. But the class is taught in the most beautiful energy. It's a healing temple of love, where so for 5 days, you're in learning how to do the life activation, learning how to do aura healing, and also getting healed yourself. It's the
Well,
most beautiful energy to be in for a week.
That sounds very similar to my journey of hypnotherapy training because that's you to be able to do this for others, you go through that initiation yourself. And so, I mean, that's the best way. There's no other way, right? And we all get there through, I believe, we all get there through going through the fire. We really have a situation in our life like yours where you get to a point where you just feel like this is, I don't want to do this anymore, or this isn't right for me. And we have to have challenges to steer us, the impetus to get us to go in another direction. So that's what you did, and it's beautiful. So then did the Reiki come before that or after that?
The Reiki came after.
Okay.
And when I was learning Reiki, I was also learning things like Ritual Master, which those classes are also offered in Toronto. And as
Uh-huh.
a Ritual Master, when I say that, it's Ritual Master is really about service, serving others, and cleaning up negative energy on the planet. So, on the Ritual Master path, we do a lot of cleaning and clearing of spaces and for people so that they can heal.
Kind of like a super turbocharged feng shui.
Yeah, yeah, super supercharged.
Well, yeah, because right, that's what feng shui does. You
Right.
situate things so that the energy can flow and you clear the space, but you're doing it, with a little added juju
Right, yes.
or a lot
Yeah.
of added juju, right?
Yeah, and what's really amazing about like when someone gets an energy cleanup is that they feel better right after. And it's so much fun for us because we see how much better they look after they get cleaned up energetically. Like people are just
Wow.
like sparkly. And
And
after they
how
get a life activation, the same thing.
and how does that work? Is this something that with both of them you facilitate with the life activation, um, or the what did you call it? The
Energy cleanup.
is it a cleaning or a clearing?
It's more of a clearing.
It's a clearing, right? So
Mhm.
after that, is there something that you facilitate and that only takes what? How long? How long would say an activation take, or how long would a clearing take?
The life activation is about an hour and a half.
Mm-hmm.
And the first part is all about balancing, and it balances uh, your elements, your earth, water, air, and fire. It opens up your light receptors, so you're pulling in more healing light. It balances your chakras. It's um, getting your magnetics going, so you're pulling in things that are good for you in abundance. And then the second part is the actual activation part.
I see. And then with the clearing, what is that, a similar technique or something different?
The clearing is, it's amazing how fast it can be. I mean, a clearing can be about 15 minutes, but it takes us about 2 years to be able to do one, to be able to clear someone, for us to be able to, as a ritual master, to be able to hold the energy and energetically have the energy and the knowledge and understanding of what we're doing. So, but it is very quick, but very powerful.
So is the energy kind of like, are you a channel to this energy? Like, is this energy come through you to the person? Or are you somehow a connection to help facilitate it?
When we're doing life activations, we're flowing the energy, and the same with Reiki.
Yeah, I was just going to say
Yeah.
that, like Reiki, right?
Yes. Yeah. With clearings, it's more like a janitor job. It's just cleaning up
Oh,
things.
yeah,
Yes.
I see. And so you're saying after you do that, the people feel, you can see, and then they confirm to you that they just feel different, right?
Yes. A lot of times they say it feels like I lost 20 pounds. I'm like, oh, if only it worked that way. Yes. But it does feel that way because when you're corded in, and you're attached to things that don't serve you, it really drains you. Like the energy vampires that some people are around in their lives,
Yeah,
or tragic things that have happened that you can't stop thinking about, or things you're angry about that happened a long time ago. Those are things
yeah.
that we can clear and clean up.
And then do they have any work afterwards, Julie? Like after they have one of these, is there any like homework, I guess, kind of, I would say, that they have to uh, that they do, or is it just, is a spontaneous thing? And then it probably, well, there's two questions. Is it just spontaneous? Are they given any instruction to hold it or keep it? Or is it just something because of that energy shift, they are just shifted to the next higher choice for them?
Yeah, with the energy cleanup, we suggest you try not to reattach to things that you're consciously aware of that you were clearing. So
Very
you just,
good.
if somebody calls you, don't answer. That
Yeah.
happens a lot right after you get cleaned up or cord cutting from maybe like an ex, you'll get a call
Yes.
from them because they sometimes they feel it too. But with the life activation, afterwards you have sprays that you use called spagyrics, and you'll use those in the morning and the evening, and they help with your body's process the um, of everything that's happening after your life activation. So you'll use those sprays until they're gone.
Wow, that's very interesting and really, really cool. I mean, it sounds like there's a combination of things that are coming together to help facilitate this. That's really great. Well, and then, gosh, it sounds like you just went along a trajectory that you were kind of just intuitively led to, as one thing led into the other, and they were just kind of weaving in, because you've got, oh my God, as I was, telling everybody about your resume, there are so many things on here. So I'm just amazed, and I'm curious, well then, when did it come up for sacred geometry and your astral travel? And I mean, so tell us more. How did it fit in? What's the next in the weaving? I guess I'd
Yeah.
say.
Well, what's really cool about the Modern Mystery School is that, like going to any school, there's a curriculum and there's a path. So sometimes there's prerequisites. So
Ah,
you learn how to do things like sacred geometry and astral travel before you even go to Healers Academy. You learn how to do them. But after Healers Academy, you can go on to something called Teachers Academy, where you can learn how to teach the classes like sacred geometry and astral travel. What's really cool is that everything I'm doing, I don't do it because I'm special. I do it
oh,
because I learned how to do it.
of
So
course.
anything I'm doing is there's a class for it, and everyone else can do it too. I didn't dream it up. I didn't imagine this and start teaching it. This is all teachings and healings and clearings that have been handed down that I've learned and that I want other people to learn how to do them too.
That's a really great point. I love that. I love sharing that with my clients too. Is like we're all one. We all have the ability to do this. We all can choose to change and grow and evolve. And that's what I love about this space is everyone sharing all their different ways of doing that. And then we see how many different options we have and what resonates with you individually. And the more that people really say, okay, I'm going to listen to my intuition. I'm going to really open up to that. Maybe, turn the TV off earlier or don't watch it at all. Um, right, that's me. I was like, I turned it off like 6 years ago and it's never been back on.
Nice.
So, keep that energy contained. Um, I love that you brought that up. That's such an important point that everybody out there listening to Julie, this is for you. You can do it, right? And so that's what I get so excited about sharing, you sharing, everybody sharing their stories, because they're all coming basically to the same thing but from a different angle. And so then everybody has the free choice to say, oh, that really resonates with me. And you'll know it, right? You'll just know it in your heart or in your, in your solar plexus, or something will just say,
Mhm.
like it did with you. It'll just say, aha. Well, then tell us, how did you switch to the children's stories? Did that come out of one of these amazing courses that you took that you learned something else from?
Mm, absolutely. So, one of the other things in the school is the Universal Ray Kabbalah. So,
Oh,
Kabbalah is one of my favorite things. It's amazing. It's a whole year of teachings that you literally ascend into the tree of life and you go into each sephira and you learn different things in each of these sephiras. And while I was in Kabbalah, we were in one of the sephiras, Netzach, and we were talking about doing something creative from our youth, something that we wanted to do. And it was in one of the study groups we were talking about. And I said, I've always wanted to write a book. I feel like I have a book in me. And so when I was in the study group, I committed to doing that. I said, I'm going to write the book.
Did you
And so
know
I
what it
started writing
was?
it.
Did you know what it was when you said, I know there's a book in me? Did you know, kind of have an idea or know outright what it was? Or did you just think, did you just feel like, I know I have a book? How'd
Well,
you know
I
what
started,
it was?
well, I had a stuffed animal that was a possum that I had gotten at a Cracker Barrel. And it was this cute possum, right? And I'd gotten it one time when I was there with my kids, and it was like it looked like a possum. I mean, it was a possum, which aren't necessarily the cutest things, but I mean, unless you're like me and you love possums. So I started taking this possum everywhere with me, and I'd had it for years. And I was like, I feel like this is going to be the star of my book. And so it became Poppy the Awesome Possum. And she had something similar to me. She kind of woke up, right? She woke up, and I'm not talking about woke. I'm talking about woke up like there's got to be more to this life than what I'm doing. There's got to
Yes.
be more than counting fireflies or counting, picking apart leaves. She just wanted more. And so she started looking and she started questioning. And she started using the questions that we ask in Kabbalah. Who am I? What am I? Where did I come from? Where am I going? What's my purpose? And she started asking these questions. And she had a guide named Mama B, who is based on my guide, Barbara. And
Oh,
Mama B, this owl who is ancient and wise and taught her meditation. So this book first takes children through the idea of what you can discover about yourself in meditation. And Poppy discovered she was an awesome possum, like that's
oh,
who she is. And then she went on to meditate and meet the moon and receive the runes. So what's cool about the book is at the back of the book, it has a little mini book in it that teaches children the about runes. So they can learn what they are and how to use them and how to see them in nature and how to draw them. And it has the description of each rune and what energy it brings in. So they could even make their own set of runes.
wow, right, because they just need to get the stones, right? And then they can,
Right.
and then they're learning from a young age how, to connect with their own inner wisdom. And that is so beautiful. Now, I happen to be someone who loves possums, and I have a fun possum story for you. One day, I was in the kitchen at the sink, and I heard my dog, he since has passed, but I heard my dog, "Roar, roar, 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 roar," and I looked out the back lanai and I saw him facing facing the opposite way, and I just saw him doing this, and I was like, what is he barking at? And so finally I stopped, put down what I was doing, and I went back there, and I went out on the lanai and I looked, and in the bush next to the lanai was a baby possum.
Oh.
And as my dog Rocky was barking at, the little possum was going, ah! Ah! It was so adorable. And so of course I took my dog and put him in his pen and I said, "You leave that little baby possum alone and let its mother come and get it and take care of it." So it was a really cute story. And I wish I would have got a little picture with an audio of that little possum going, ah!
I think you do much better than the picture ever could. You make a very cute little possum when you do that.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I'm channeling the little baby possum. So that was really, really a thing close to my heart, an experience close to my heart, and I never forgot the little baby possum. So the first thing I thought of course, when I read your bio was the possum, and I thought of my little baby. Ah! So that's adorable. Well, I'm curious now too, Julie, when you started making all these changes, what happened then in your relationship? How was your husband with these changes?
That's a great question. it was funny because in the beginning, I would try to talk to him about some of the things I was learning and experiencing, and he would just kind of shut down. And he didn't really want to talk about it. And I kind of felt like I was going on the best trip of my life, and there was nobody else I'd rather have with me but him, and he wasn't interested in going on the journey with me. And then when I started to go into on the ritual master path, one of my friends who is my guide, Barbara, her husband, he said to my husband, I know you love your wife. I think you should join her on this journey. And my husband heard that and he took Empower Thyself
Oh,
because he loves me. And he's like, I need to know what she knows. I need to be with her on this journey. And it was like, I've always said I won the husband lottery because my husband is an amazing man. He is absolutely, I I just adore him. We've been married for 18 years and I absolutely love him. But the man I know now after he took Empower Thyself and some of the other classes he has taken is like an upgraded version I hadn't even imagined could exist. And our relationship is so beautiful. We both understand things and look at things in such a in a hermetic way where it's very clean. There's no like fighting or not being kind to each other. We're on the same team all the time.
that
And
is
it's
so
I love every
beautiful.
moment of it.
Oh my
So
God, I
good.
could cry. That is like that. You're the poster girl for empowered couples. So I don't know, maybe a couple thing could be coming down the pike if it isn't already. I don't know, just saying there. The two of you, right?
Yeah.
Well, and
Yeah.
how long of a time period was that when you started on your journey before that gentleman said that to him? How long were you on it alone?
It was about, I think, a year and a half or 2 years.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So that
Where
must have
maybe
been
maybe about it, maybe about a year. Yeah.
Well, that must have been difficult for you to navigate then, because if he shut down and didn't want to talk to you about it, then you just had to share it with your classmates and Barbara and people that you were working with, right? And helping and serving. But
Hmm.
if you would go to do a class, did you have your facility at that time when this was going on?
No,
Did
I didn't, we didn't have
Limitless
Limitless
Light?
Light back then. I was just kind of working on my own or, meeting people for life activations and
Uh-huh.
things like that. But at the time, my husband he was still an awesome guy.
Yeah.
We still had a wonderful relationship. It just wasn't like at this high level it is now.
Yeah.
But he was less understanding of the time when I was going to Toronto or taking classes. But
Mm-hmm.
afterwards, when he started feeling the energy himself, he's like, wow, this is really important work. This is making a big difference in the world. And I mean, there's never been any question about any taking any classes or hey, I need to go do a healing or teach a class. He's always happy for me to do it.
Wow, that's such a success story. And what about the kids? What about your children?
My children have both taken Empower Thyself.
How old are they?
My oldest is 30, my son
Oh,
Noah, he's awesome. And my son Jake, who is about to turn 18 this year, which is crazy. He wanted to take the class too. So he took it last year.
this is amazing. Wow. This is amazing, especially for men and boys. I mean, 18 is really still considered a boy, right?
Yes. Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Wow. And so do they have aspirations then to go further with this?
No, not at this time. But,
Yeah.
I mean, when I think about it, I didn't find it till I was, you know, in my 40s. So
Yeah. Yeah.
let's
It,
see.
let's see, let's let it unfold, right?
Right.
Well, then what about some of these other amazing things you have on your resume? I mean, what about, well, I know about, I want to talk to you in a minute about the astral travel a little bit, but, and do you say Celtic or Celtic? I pronounce it Celtic shamanism.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Celtic.
Okay, because a lot of people say Celtic, but I always say Celtic. So where did that fit in?
So that's on the ritual master path when you become initiated as a Celtic shaman there. And that's basically where you can start learning more about it. So it's really studying deeper understanding. And there's amazing other classes that I've taken: dragon magic, elf and fairy magic. Um, there's been Viking magic. There's
Oh,
so many cool classes.
and are those all through the Toronto Mystery School?
Yeah, some of them come down to Naples. We've had dragon magic down here twice and mer magic, which was amazing.
Mer magic would be great for
Yes.
here.
Yes, we did some water healing for the golf in that class.
Oh,
Yeah, so
wow.
there's so many wonderful, beautiful classes. And it's just like, when you go to college where you can go, okay, here's some other classes I want to take. I want to do unicorn magic, but then there's some other ones that you take that are prerequisites if you're on a certain path of being a teacher or a guide.
Uh-huh. And so how do they, there's so many of them here, and so you have so many different modalities. So what does it look like? Like if a client would call you and tell you, oh, well, okay, Julie, I have this or that going on. How do you know what tool to pull out of which bag? Because you've got
Yeah.
so many things.
Right. Yes. And that's part of being a guide, because once you teach someone the Empower Thyself class, there's an initiation at the end of that class and you become their guide, and you're their spiritual guide for life. So you can help them on their journey. So depending on what my client has going on in their life, I can suggest different healing modalities, many that I know. But I mean,
Uh-huh.
inside the walls of Limitless Light, Barbara especially has so many different healing modalities she does. Or we have people in the area in Sarasota who also have additional healings.
Mhm.
So we kind of look at what's going on in their life and make sure that they get the best thing they need, the best healing that they need right now for their
And at
their
the time,
journey.
and speaking of intuition, your intuition combined with your sacred wisdom and knowledge now that you've learned combines to know, to intuitively know, right? What's going to be effective for them.
Yes.
Explain that to me a little bit more. You said once you finish the course with Know Thyself, you're given someone and they become your student. How did you say that?
So there's an initiation at the end of Empower Thyself.
Okay.
And at that initiation, it's very royal. It's very much like being knighted. There's
Uh-huh.
actually a sword. It's very cool. So you become an adept initiate into the lineage of King Solomon. So
Hmm.
you, after you take that class, you hold that royal lineage. And then as the teacher, I become that person's guide.
Who's
So
that
I'm
person? Who's that
the
person?
student, whoever's initiated, whoever's in my
Oh,
class,
oh, I
that
see now.
student, I become their guide.
I see. Okay. Yeah, I was a little, and I don't know if anybody else that's listening, it was a little confused. I was just confused by that. But I see you're teaching the class.
So
And it's
Barbara taught me the class and she's my guide.
right. And so then when you teach, so that's fascinating. So there are so many bobbing and weaving here that we could go with this. But so where are you now then with the mystery school in Toronto? So are you kind of on the, you're kind of on the board of that, so to speak, that or are you still involved? I don't mean, you know what I mean. It's like just a term,
Yes.
there's no board really, but you're
Yeah.
part of that organization because of all you've done there. And do you go there and um, a certain period of time every year? Do you teach any classes there? Do you teach them online? I'd like to know because our listeners, if our listeners want to know, oh, I love her, I want to do some of that, you know, they want to know a little more about, well, are there so many classes a year in different things? And do they have to go to Toronto? Is there anything you do online? Just to give us a little idea of where someone might start if they were really interested in starting, even just starting the journey.
Yeah. I go up to Toronto several times a year. We go up for Professional Integration Day, which is where we all go up to make sure everybody is still using their tools correctly and holding the
Uh-huh.
energy correctly for any of the healing modalities that they've learned, which is really nice. I mean, you know, as a professional, you always want to do your continuing education pieces,
Yes.
right? And recertification. So it's very much like that. We always want to make sure everybody's still holding that energy really good to give the best healings they can. But if
Yeah.
somebody is interested in learning what I've learned, I would say the first step is the life activation, which you can see
Uh-huh.
me in Naples, Florida. But what's amazing is that there are thousands of people who teach who do life activations. So if you're not in Naples, Florida, if you go on our website, my website, limitlesslight.com, there's a link for the Modern Mystery School. And on their page, they have find a life activation practitioner. And you can click on that and you can find every state, every country. We're in 60 countries. So
Oh,
you can find
wow.
somebody if you want someone in Romania, we have some awesome people in Romania doing life activations. So anywhere you are in the world, you can find somebody who does what I do.
Wow, see, for the audience, this is really great because it doesn't matter where you live, you can do it in person. And but they don't do it online? Are life activations only in person?
Only in person.
Yeah, only
Yes.
in person, but you're in 60 countries, so everybody should be able to find something. Um, and so I'd like to just know a little bit more about your, with your journey, with your intuition and how, what inspiring little tips you would have for our audience. If, say, there's someone that's joining us today who is just feeling like you felt when you first started your story, and they feel like they don't know their purpose. They don't know why they're here. And maybe they're stuck in that, it looks good on paper, but I'm not feeling it. Of some ideas or suggestions for someone like that.
Yeah, intuition for me is listening to my higher power, listening to my higher self. And I connect a lot with that my higher self in meditation. In fact, my books were written in meditation. All of that was came to me while I was meditating. So I would say meditation is a great way to remove all of the outside noise so you can get the answers to the questions you have. So if you are feeling lost and you can't quite find out who you are and what you are, be like Poppy. Poppy was trying to discover who she was, and she did that through meditation. So give yourself an opportunity to listen to yourself without the outside noise, so you can actually hear your intuition and you can hear your higher self and you can hear the hierarchy of light telling you what you need to hear.
Exactly. Just as I said in the beginning, listen to the voice within as opposed to the voice or voices without, which is, that's one of my favorite lines in my book, Horses to Higher Consciousness. Listen inside. That is so beautiful, Julie. I am just really, really thrilled with our conversation. And I'm thinking maybe Poppy would be good for adults as well as children.
I have to tell you, I've heard that so many times that the parents love it as much as the kids. This is the first one, Poppy the Awesome Possum in the Book of
Hold it up a little
Runes.
bit more. Oh yeah, all the way, a little more, so we see the bottom. The awesome possum in the Book of Runes. Oh, I love it. Yeah, that's better when you hold it back. And how many pages is that, Julie?
It's only 113
Well,
pages,
that's a lot for a
114.
children's book.
It's a chapter book. So there's pictures throughout the book. There's one in each chapter.
I love
But
that.
this one at the back of the book is where you get to learn all about the runes. So it's a book within a book.
Yes.
And then the second book teaches children about herbs and teas.
Oh, that's
So
the second book. Okay, so
yes,
it's
so
the,
this is book two.
uh-huh.
And in this one, in the back of the book, it goes into essential oils and herbs and teas, which is really nice because there's so many herbal teas that are great for children. And I got to tell you, one of the things I love about these books is this is information I wish I had when I was a child. I wish I'd
I
learned
know.
about runes. I
Me
wish I'd learned about
too.
essential oils. So that's what I want to do. I want to give kids an opportunity to learn these fun little things that could kind of change their life and their futures.
Well, and it absolutely can. And I know growing up, I didn't have it either, which is what inspired the book. So listen, what I'm saying is everything happens for a reason, and this is what had to happen to me. But it's all in here because I had to go through that just as what you're describing and not knowing who am I, and this doesn't make sense. And the religion thing is not resonating, and what do I do? And look what I have, Julie.
Runes. Do you
I
want to pull
have
a rune
my
for us?
bag of runes.
Why don't you pull a
Yes.
rune for us?
Oh, okay. Let me put the other ones back in, and they're amethyst runes.
Oh, I love it. So, what you can do is just ask what we need to tell your listeners for their best and highest good. What message do they need to hear today?
Okay, and yes, and let's, ooh, you can add your awesomeness to it and your intention, and and then we'll take it to the stratospheres. Okay. Beautiful, beautiful runes. What message is for the highest and best interest and good of our audience today? In this beautiful interview with Julie, who's enlightened us on you. Okay, I'm going to dig deep here. Okay, here it is. And now I don't have my book right here, so you'll have to tell me which one this is, Julie.
Yes. Okay, we're going to use my book here.
Is this right side up or upside down?
Oh, flip it over. That's Rido. Yes. See how it looks like an R? So this
Yes, it looks like
means,
an R. I'm going to show
so
everybody again too so they can see. I'm going to hold it right up. See that,
perfect.
everybody?
So Rido, the meaning is journey, communication, personal transformation, and quest.
Oh, that's perfect.
It's so funny because that's the rune that Poppy receives, and she's so excited about going on a quest.
Are there are no coincidences. Okay, I'm so excited. Read it again once more. I'm going to hold the rune up so everybody can see
Okay.
it.
So the meaning of Rido, journey, communication, personal transformation, quest. And you can draw it on an object to protect you on a journey or bring about positive change. So if you want some change in your life, you can draw that on it. Draw
Wow.
it and look at it, bring it into your life.
Oh, well, you know what I'm going to do too? I'm going to, when we end our session, I'm going to burn a little bit of my Palo Santo wood. I'm going to do my own little ceremony and keep this here in honor of you all watching this and in honor of Julie and all her amazingness, bringing us this beautiful wisdom and inspiration. And of course, it couldn't be more perfect. Because everything is working to your advantage. Something wonderful is happening for you now. Your world is taking care of you. Everything is going according to plan. Things are working out perfectly and continue to do so with ease. All is well in your world. That's one of my favorite little mantras that I
Oh,
always share with my clients.
beautiful,
Isn't it?
beautiful.
So we're gonna take that from our session today, and I'm so grateful for you, Julie, and all your beautiful, and thank you for taking that journey, and thank you for honoring yourself, and then being able to bring yourself to this beautiful place where now you are of such great service to humanity. Thank you for your service, my dear. This is
Thank you.
really
It's an honor to be here. Thank you so much.
It's an honor to have you, and I'm so thrilled that so many people are going to be able to hear you and hear your message. So, before we leave, I want you to tell everybody again where they can find you one more time.
So you can find me on limitlesslight.com is my website with my partner, Barbara Segura, and our friend Heather, who works with us there. So you can find us there. You can also find the Poppy books There's a link on the website on my page, or you can find them on Amazon or Barnes and Noble. If you'd like to experience Poppy, they're wonderful for children anywhere from ages 6 and up. They'll absolutely enjoy it, and you will too.
Oh, thank you for telling us that because that was one of my questions too. What age group is this, is this geared toward? But I'll tell you what, I'm going to channel my own 6 to 9 year old because I am going to be getting that book. Absolutely. I want the book so that I can use it with my runes.
Yes. Yes. And if you go on julielebritton.com, you can find coloring pages of all the poppy pictures, which is so much fun. So if you love to color, check that out too.
And listen, all the parents out there with these with children 6 to 9 or even a little older, right? This would be a wonderful, wonderful way to teach them in a fun way. And it's such a young age to start learning about their inner wisdom and to trust their own intuition, right?
Yes,
So
absolutely.
that is so beautiful. Well, do you have any parting comments or any like final message you'd like to share with our audience before we say goodbye?
All I can say is if you are looking for your purpose and you are wondering why you're here, I can help remind you.
Oh, that is beautiful. That is so beautiful. Well, thank you, Julie, so much for taking the time to be with us here today and sharing your incredible wisdom and your beauty and your deep soul commitment to serving humanity. Thank you, my dear.
Thank you.
And thank you to everyone who is here listening. I'm sure you're going to take away a lot of good things from this session with Julie here, this beautiful interview where you've learned so much. Take it out into the world and empower thyself. So, on that note, I'm going to say goodbye. Thank you, Julie. Thanks, everybody. And we'll see you again soon on another amazing Intuition Incubator interview. Bye, everybody. See you soon. Thanks, Julie. Bye bye, everybody.